So today we are here talking about our neighbor series, talking about trees. I'm with some of the best in the business. If you guys would introduce yourself, that would be awesome.
Hi, my name is Jake Griffith. I'm a closing attorney at Neel Robinson in Stafford.
Hello, I'm Nancy Wells. My husband, John Wells, and I own the Wells Agency. We're with Allstate Insurance.
Hi, I'm Samantha Baker, and I'm the operations manager at Neel Robinson in Stafford.
Awesome. And I'm Laura Miller Edwards, Keller Williams Realty. So we get a lot of questions from homeowners about things concerning trees. And I wanted to call in some of the industry experts and see what we could discuss today to help you guys know what the right course of action or whose responsibility it is in these situations that come up. So one of the situations that we hear about a lot is when a neighbor has a tree and it hangs over into your property. What are your rights?
So the owner can trim the branches up to the property line. However, they can't cross over into the neighbor's property and start trimming the branches on their side. And they also cannot destroy the tree in the process of trimming the branches back.
So if a tree is directly on the property line, who owns the tree?
So such a tree is commonly referred to as like a boundary tree, and neither party can remove the tree completely without the other's consent. And that's because both parties are responsible for maintaining the tree and therefore have kind of a concurrent claim to maintenance and ownership of that tree.
So what if the tree is clearly on the property line, but it's leaning in one direction? Who owns the tree as it's leaning in that direction? Does that change anything?
No, the neighbor would own the tree.
The one it's leaning, is that?
It would be, the trunk is on the property and it's leaning on the neighbor where the trunk is on the property would own the tree.
What if a neighbor grades their property and in the process damages the root system and the tree dies? What are your rights as an owner?
So if they grade their own property and that trunk of the tree is on a neighboring property, and let's say that grading damages the root system of that tree, then the neighbor owes the owner the value of the tree. So just because the trunk is, far enough away from your property line and the grading is not going to affect it at all, or you don't think so, if it damages that root system and then causes damages to that tree, then the neighbor grading their own property is going to be responsible to the owner of the tree.
So I have an additional question to that. How do you value a tree? Nancy, is that something that?
I would have an arborist come out. They can come out for free every year and give you all kinds of knowledge, what's alive, what's dead, and most likely the value of it as well.
And a tree looks like it's gonna fall on the owner's house. What can the owner do?
It's kind of the same as trimming back the branches. You can trim the overhanging branches back to the property line. You can also call the local government if it's core property or if there's power line that's obstructed. If there's some a dangerous situation, a tree ordinance would require the owner to remove the tree, or the government would, step in if necessary if there's a dangerous situation. It's also wise for the neighbor to send a certified letter as a formal notification so that you have everything in writing in the event the tree does actually fall.
From an insurance perspective, does that help the situation?
Definitely, especially with that letter. You need to have a paper trail should there be a loss, and just doing your due diligence as an owner yourself. You need to look up and see, do you have one of your trees leaning on the other property? So you got to make sure that you're protecting others as well.
And if a tree falls on my house, this is storm season coming up. So if a tree falls on my house, who's responsible?
So there's two angles to go at this. I would say from a legal perspective, if the tree was diseased or dead, the neighbor is responsible for the damage. The idea is that the owner should have known the tree was dying or diseased, and thus the party should bear the burden of maintenance of that tree. But if the tree fell due to an act of God, like a thunderstorm, hurricane, tornado, something like that, the owner of the damaged property would be responsible. But this kind of goes to Nancy's side of things, is that this is the importance and the reasons why you have homeowners insurance, to avoid a big headache in situations like that.
Right. Your deductible will apply in this area also, just to know, because the amount of damage that there is, it still needs to be under, if it's under the amount of the deductible, you don't want to put a claim in. So it needs to be significantly over, because this is a regular claim. But no matter where it's rooted, wherever it lands, because it's an act of God, it's their responsibility. If it is disease, it's usually covered. Also, if it is dead and the other person knowingly knows that it's dead, that's the part you got to prove.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody gets injured, then you could have grounds for a lawsuit, and that's why you want to have that paper trail in place.
Wow. Awesome. Good stuff. Thank you guys so much for your time and sharing your expertise. And we just love sharing this information with the public. If anybody wants to get in touch with you guys to ask further questions, Jake, you want to give your number?
Yeah, so you guys can reach me at 404-705-7955.
Nancy, you want to?
The Wells Agency, we are at 770-541-4000.
And I'm Laura Miller Edwards, 678-388-1400. You guys have a great day.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching The Lowdown with the local market experts. You can find us online at lauramilleredwards.com, on Instagram at LME Realty, and on Facebook at LME Realty Group.